Well, I hope those colder temperatures aren't making you put your grill away. We have plenty of tips coming up. Plus, it's still football season in Iowa and Illinois. Tonight, is the last week of football. Missouri still has another week, but it's still tailgating season. We've got plenty of tips coming up for you if you want to keep grilling through the colder temperatures.
Take the flame of Lady Liberty and light your barbecue if you so desire this morning.
Like my steak well done today, I think.
I think I like mine medium well. A little red, but not pink.
A little juicy.
Yeah, but we're going to find out all about grilling today. Cooler weather might be upon us, but that is certainly not going to stop people from getting their grill on, especially during football season. Lindsay Boach is live this morning at the Butcher Block in Quincy. Good morning, Lindsay.
Good morning, guys. Yes, I actually asked on Facebook how you guys like your meats done, and somebody said that they like theirs medium rare. But one guy said that the cold weather doesn't stop him. Even if it's 3 feet of snow, he's still going to use his grill. So that's good news. It's football season still. Football season for the NFL continues into January. Last week for Illinois and Iowa, but we have one more week for Missouri. So if you're still looking for meat, you can come out here to the Butcher Block. I'm joined by Butcher Block's owner, Dan Weil, and we're going to talk a little bit about safety when cooking your meat. What is the most important thing to remember?
Cleanliness is probably the best thing to remember. Just the cross-contamination of cleanliness is by far the worst worry that you could have. So, I mean, that and the cooking temperatures, cook it at the proper temperatures. So that's a big plus right there. So remember the food safety and sanitation part of it.
And how rare is too rare? I know when you're talking, some people like their steaks rare, but how rare is too rare?
Well, steaks, I mean, as far as rare, you can cook a steak as rare as you want, as long as you get that outside temperature, because the E. coli, which is what you're worried about, as long as you sear that steak on the top and it gets to 160 degrees, it kills that E. coli. So you can actually eat a raw steak. I mean, that's where your steak tartare comes from. So it's the ground meat that you want to worry about. The ground meat is what you have to cook to 160 degrees internal temperature.
And now pork is at the same temperature?
Pork is actually you can actually cook pork to 145 degrees, unbeknownst to a lot of people that actually still cook their pork way overdone. So you can actually serve pork at 145, and it's actually the proper temperature to serve it. So as long as you get it to that 145, you're at a good temperature.
Is cooking temperature the only thing that will help with getting rid of those bacteria?
Well, I mean, you're cleaning stuff, taking time to after you put the product on the grill or into the stove or whatever, to take that pan, to take them utensils that you've used and take them to the sink and clean them with a good sanitizer so it kills all the bacteria on that, so you don't take the product that you put on the grill and put it back on the dirty plate that you had. So that's a plus right there, and keeping your hands clean at all times. Once you put the product on the grill, go inside and wash your hands again.
Okay, and now we have some thermometers over here. There are different types of thermometers for different types of meat, correct?
Yeah, that's actually kind of, it helps people to, if you just want to cook poultry, if you want to cook pork, it keeps you where it takes all the guesswork out of it. So you can cook to medium rare on the steak with the steak one, you can cook to medium rare, you can cook to rare, you can cook to well, just by watching the little thermometer on it. There's all kinds of different thermometers. There's infrared, there's digital, there's just the regular standard thermometers, the dial thermometer. So there's all kinds of different ways that you can do that. And then a lot of people do cook by sight still too, so.
And I've heard of the finger test where you hold your finger out and something about medium, rare. Yeah. Does that work? That
works, but it's something where, if you're a seasoned veteran cook, you can use stuff like that. But if you're an average novice cook, I would suggest getting a good thermometer. That would be your best, safest way to do it.
All right, thank you very much, Dan. We're going to come back to you in a little bit. We've got lots more cooking tips, plus we're going to put some meat on the grill as well coming up here in a little bit.
Man, we got to get the smell-o-vision thing going.
I know, between yesterday and today.
Not only are we wanting to enjoy the aroma, but I think we could make some change if we invented smell-o-vision.
You figure that out, Chad, and you let me know, and I'll help you finagle something.
All right. Well, broadcasting to the dozens of people, they might have stolen my idea now.
I was going to say, Chad will be gone in a week. We have marinades, we have rubs, we've got all types of stuff for grilling, especially now that it's tailgating season, and it'll go till probably as long as you want it to. But coming up next, we're going to tell you what you should rub on your meat before you put it on the heat.
Now we're talking barbecue, and this is a live look at Niagara Falls. Just, something like that.
Or something like that.
To tie in with the movie Bruce Almighty, they do Niagara Falls and they do live shots, and Lindsay Boach is a big fan of that movie. And here she is now live talking about barbecue stains on her white t-shirts.
Yeah, I'm not wearing a white t-shirt, and I probably wouldn't recommend wearing a white t-shirt while eating barbecue. But look at all of this stuff. There's tons of different rubs, tons of different marinades. There's so many. I would never know what to put on on any type of meat, chicken, pork, any type of steak or rib, which is why I'm not a chef or the owner of the Butcher Block. But good luck or good news for us, Dan Vile is the owner of Butcher Block, and he's going to explain a little bit about what we have. Here we have a rack of ribs.
We have a rack of baby back ribs, yes. On baby back ribs, a lot of different stuff you can put on them, a lot of its preference as far as flavors. We've got one that's actually a 9-time world champion rib. We have a bunch of different stuff. Thing on cooking ribs is you want to think about layers of flavors. So we've got a little yellow mustard to keep the marinade or the rub on there. A little Kansas City touch of cherry, a little Kansas City championship rubs. There's 2 different rubs. Put a little bit of honey on it, maybe a little bit of apple juice, and then finish it with a little barbecue sauce. Cook them for 6 hours. You'll have some of the best ribs you ever had.
I never would have thought about putting cherry rub on ribs either, but this is brisket, and what do we have here?
That's a whole beef brisket. On a beef brisket, you cook it low and slow, 14, 16 hours. Soak it in a little brisket brine overnight for 24 to 48 hours. Season it up with a good rub. Cook it on the smoker or the grill for 14 hours, and then finish it with a little marinade.
And then we have one more over around the corner here. This is, what is
That's
this?
a pork shoulder. That's a pork shoulder. That's a whole pork shoulder or a pork butt. That would be something a lot of people in Quincy, we sell a lot of barbecued pulled pork here. That was one that I have with a pecan marinade, a little honey rib rub on there, and then finish it with a little honey barbecue sauce. Or you can use our the Butcher Block pork and brisket rub, which is real popular, and finish with a little Butcher Block barbecue sauce.
So you can put rub and you can put marinade and sauce on.
You can use both of them together. It's kind of, I mean, you can use a dry rub and then completely finish with a dry rub. A lot of people like that. Or you could do both. Or you could just use barbecue sauce on it. So preference.
Okay, sounds great, looks great, smells great. We tried some of the jalapeno bacon, which was excellent, and you guys inject in that.
It's an injected bacon, and then it's just finished with a little top on the top of it with some jalapeno rub.
A little spicy, just a little bit spicy. Do you guys have any questions on, if you guys are home cooking that you want to know about marinades or rubs?
Here's my question. Am I drooling?
Yes,
Because I'm
he is.
salivating.
Well, this is
I'm
a
gonna
far
say
cry
yes, you
from
are.
my toaster oven chicken breasts that I normally make, and I just drizzle some barbecue sauce on them. But is it better to leave it in overnight if you marinate, your chicken breast, or if you're marinating your beef? How long do you marinate for?
If you want to marinate chicken or beef, how long should you marinate?
Depends on how thick the product is, of course, but the longer you marinate it, of course, the better. I mean, there is things that you don't want to marinate for too long, but typically probably about 24 hours. I mean, if there is stuff out there that's an instant marinade where it'll instantly marinate within 3 or 4 minutes, but typically just say 24 hours.
Okay, and coming up in the next half hour, we're going to actually start to cook stuff on the grill that we have going on outside.
Before we let you go, Tegan has a question for you, so
Okay.
if we can get her question.
Okay, Lindsay, here's my question. I've heard this for years. Is it okay, and does milk take the game taste out, like the gamey taste out of wild game, like venison, buffalo, elk? I've heard if you soak that in milk overnight or for 24 hours, you get the gamey taste out. So ask him if he knows anything about that.
Tegan wants to know, she heard that if you soak your venison or anything that's really gamey in milk, does that take the gamey taste out?
Some things will. I mean, anything that the gamey taste is coming from the blood. So anything that's going to take the blood out of it, whether it be buttermilk, whether it be vinegar, anything like that to take some of the blood, washing it with water in order to get some of the gamey taste out of it. Yeah, soaking it with blood. If you're wanting to get the gamey taste out of it, I would say add more spice than anything. So the more spice you add to it, the better it's going to be that way.
Okay, thank you very much, Dan.
Now I've lost my appetite. No longer
We
salivating.
were hungry now. No.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. We will see you in just a few. Barbecue on a beach. If you were there in Miami, that is a live look at Miami Beach this morning. The barbecue song by Rhett and Link, the barbecue lady, Lindsay Boach, live at the Butcher Block this morning, grilling up some food. Hey, Lindsay.
Hey guys, yes, I don't know if you can see it, but it's cold enough that you can see my breath, and if you were outside, you could see your own breath too. But that's not stopping us from grilling. Take a look at this. During the break, we threw some meat on the grill. Explain a little bit about what we have here.
We have a boneless pork chop, we have a ribeye, we have some boneless chicken breast, we have some vegetables, some homemade rope sausage, and some egg corn squash for the fall.
And how do you know when everything is done?
Well, you can use a thermometer or do it by touch or by sight. pretty much what I'll do on the thick chop is cook it. I'll watch the temperature of or the color of the meat come if I want to get the pork chop done. And I usually watch the temperature or the color of the meat come at least till more than halfway, and then I turn it over. So you'll see the color change in the meat. The same way with on the steak and the chicken breast, you can see the color changing already. When that chicken breast color changes to where it's almost more than halfway, that's when I'll flip it over.
And we have some vegetables on the grill as well. That one that kind of looks like a pumpkin, that's
the egg corn squash, really good. It's got some real butter in it. It's got some brown sugar, and then in a little while we'll put a little bit of marshmallow on it.
And we also, well, I didn't, you put on some rub. Explain the rub that you put on the different meats.
We put on some the Butcher Block steak and roast rub is what we put on our steaks, and everybody knows the Butcher Block steaks around here that we do on our cookouts. That's what we use, and everybody just loves that. And then we've got a little Kansas City sweet rub on the pork and the chicken.
All right, and the sausage has been on here for, it's been cooking a little longer.
The sausage has been on there for about 10 minutes, and that's a whole hog rope sausage that we make. It's really good for breakfast. It's very, very good on the grill.
Awesome, sounds good. It smells delicious. Is there anything that you guys want to know about? And actually, they've teamed up with the Salvation Army for deer donations. He said that program is going absolutely wonderful. They've had a very good turnout of deer coming into the Butcher Block. But is there anything else that you guys needed to know about barbecuing?
I don't think so. You talked earlier about you can use the thermometer or just look at it. I look at it, and sometimes my barbecue gets a little crisp.
Yeah, I tend to go overdone instead of underdone. But now that I know the dangers of being underdone, there aren't any. I might try to go more towards the medium to medium well route.
That's the way I like it. All right, thanks so much, Lindsay. Happy eating, by the way.